It goes back to 19th century. This is our family land. You have that issue. And when you eventually go over that barrier, you now want to get a mortgage. And before you can get a mortgage, you must have CFO. And CFO, as you know, is something that a lot of people say it could take you up to 5 years from any state government.
If not,
how do we begin to change all of those? Let's take it one by one.
I'll take it. This is an amazing question. There are two sets of Nigerians. There are those who are in government and those who are not in government. Okay? I'm going to make a general rule, but I'm going to start from the known to the unknown. Number one, family land. Government has no problem with family land because of the land use decree. So what does government do? If government can acquire the land. Number two, what is the action of government to lands in Nigeria? It is not for development. I say this with every sense of responsibility. The land is the brown gold of every government. They milk the land. And that is not the essence and the spirit of the Land Use Act. The Land Use Act spirit and essence was to bypass the problem you have just highlighted. Families giving you problems. So what does government do? They take the land, they compensate the families. When they have taken this land, next thing is to ensure that these lands go into the hands of accredited developers and not to speculators. And you know as well as I do that 99% of our lands are for housing are given to speculators. And these speculators, who are agents of the people in government, sell the land to developers. And
at a premium.
At a premium. And whatever is the premium on land, that direct premium is going to the off-taker. It's going to the off-taker. There's no rocket science on it. So any state government who wants to make housing available, and how will they make housing available? You know, yesterday you saw Mr. President launch the housing scheme for workers. I wish they could call me. I'll be a free consultant to them, like I did to the Senate on social housing policy bill, okay? And I will tell them what to do. This cup is going to be delivered to you based on cost of land, assuming it's a house. The cost of land, if the unit cost of land comes to 500,000 naira, you must pay that. Cost of infrastructure, if it comes to 200,000 naira, you must pay that, making it 700,000. Cost of construction, if it is 1.3 million, you must pay that, making it 2 million. Before we go into mortgage, let's take the first step. Now, if NORGE, if NLC, that is made up of workers in government, NLC is the director, NLC is the deputy director, NLC is the PARMSEC, to the best of my knowledge. NLC are the workers of government who generate the memos that go to council. If these workers came together, and I will tell them what to do and how to get about it, and how to kind of massage the ego of their boss, the government. And they say, sir, for this estate, we appeal to you. There was something that the NLC president said about the president yesterday, which is one of the highest level of recognitions, that it's about the best statement anybody has made on the president. And I hope the PDP machinery will be able to pick up such a thing and highlight it. He said, we wanted to be given area around Apo. The minister said Apo is reserved for governors and the rest. And the president said, with all due respect to you, Mr. Minister, the president said, are the governors more important than the workers? Please give that land to the workers. That is the most amazing statement I've heard. Compliment anybody has paid Mr. President. Okay? Now, imagine you working on that and the governor saying, give that prime land to an estate for my workers. Look, these guys are going to house is not like salary. You can increase somebody's salary and that salary just goes, you understand how it is. Today you're on 5 naira, you say you wish it was 6. They take it to 6 naira, all of a sudden you forget it was 6 because your problem has gone up to 10. They take it to 8 naira, your problem goes to 20. So salary increment really does not hit you. But a man who gives you a home, that stays with you and stands with you for the rest of your life. So if this NLC could network with the civil service, who will be able to get across to their different PAMSECs and commissioners, and a memo is sent to council, and the government provides land, they remove the 500,000. And then a progressive government will even promise infrastructure, they remove 200,000. What you are left is 1.3 million out of 2 million. That 1.3 million, you can actually, which is the contractor's cost, you can actually still play around with it. For instance, sir, this system of construction, which I could also tell them on, will be able to reduce the cost by 25%. At the end of the day, you realize that the house that under the normal mechanics would be going for 2 million is being delivered for 1 million.
Okay.
Okay, you will agree with me, or maybe you would not, that most Nigerians, that have houses,
Yes.
they build from, most of the time, from personal savings.
Yes.
And yet we have mortgage banks.
That's the second part. I think that each time, sometimes when I was coming yesterday, I was talking at the airport. One lady at the lounge was like, "What post do you occupy?" I said, "No, I've never held any post in this country, never. I'm just members of committees, but in terms of appointments, I've never held any." "But you're always talking government." I said, "Well, I don't talk government, I talk Nigeria." But let's come back to one of the things that we've had in this country, and a lot of times Jonathan has done nothing, and they always say he's done nothing. And I'm just sitting down asking, what sort of strategies does this man have? In Nigeria, prior to a year ago, the total mortgage over a period of 50 years was less than 25,000. The total mortgage over a period of 50 years was less than 25,000.
25,000
mortgages to Nigerians.
Okay.
To the whole of Nigerians, less than 25,000. In the past 1 year, we targeted 10,000, but we generated 66,000 in 1 year that are being processed. They've been able to get money from the World Bank, from the Shelter Africa, from several organizations, and set up a body called the NMRC, Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company. And
I'm sorry to very quickly
Yes.
interject. When you say that 66,000 is
Yes.
being processed,
Yes.
it does not mean that 66,000 mortgages will be given.
you're very correct. I'll tell you the difference. Mortgages are loans, they are not gifts.
Yes.
There's what you call affordability table. What that means is that they will say, "What do you want?" You say, "I want a house of 10 million. How much do you earn? How much do you have?" Several, criteria. At the end, they said, "No, we can only give you 7.5 million. Okay? So you have two options. Number one is, "Oh, thank God, my landlord is willing to sell my house for me at 7.5 million. So you take that house and go to the mortgage bank, because NMRC does not work with individuals, they work through the mortgage banks, and say, the NMRC has given me, their scheme has given me an approval for 7.5 million, and this is a house for 7.5 million. Some people, as we speak, have already gotten their houses. But the sad part is that about 75% of the whole analysis qualify for less than 3 million. which is where I come